What was your reaction to that?
All right, can I make a confession to you guys?
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say I've been all things considered, a pretty good sport this week, right?
Yeah, moderately. You've had some flare-ups.
I mean, you really had a flare-up with Brew about your writing
where that came from.
Career obituary. But here's where I have not been a great teammate to you guys.
Okay.
I have not consumed any Super Bowl-related media that I am not producing. So that was my first time hearing that. Okay. I saw it in the rundown. I'm like, I can't bring myself to watch this podcast or watch this. But I thought that's what he was going to sound like, sad and forlorn, as I think a lot of Chiefs people are right now. Here's what I will say. I am totally fine with him half-assing it.
I know.
By that I mean, take all the time you want, Travis.
Yeah.
And he's due $12 million on March 14th, pay it. He has been, he has the idea that no, we need to know because if you're not going to be here, we don't. Travis has been the consummate take less, he is since 2018, everybody in the top 5 of, receiving production or whatever, every single person has made at least $30 million more than him on that list. And so you know what? Call it back pay if you pay him that and then he decides not to come back. I also think him being a November to the Super Bowl player is not a terrible idea. I think giving him as much time as he wants is not a terrible idea. I don't think he's washed. I obviously don't think he is the dominant best tight end in the league anymore because he shouldn't be. He's the same age as Gronk. Gronk retired for the first time 6 years ago. So, no, I don't think he should retire. I think he should do whatever the hell he wants. And if that means he figures it out in August, I think we can make it work. That's how I feel about it.
Well, when you look at his offseason, or look at over the last 3 years, so he talks about having the shortened season. So they played a month longer than the teams that didn't make the playoffs. So you got that. You play the extra games. That's a component too. They've done it for 3 years in a row. And I'd say what was different for this past offseason for him is he was on one show. He had another show, which was a game show. He had his podcast. He was in a relationship, so he was traveling a lot. And even those are fun things, those still take up time, energy, and effort. So he's done a lot of stuff, and it's exhausting. Just playing football the way he's done it is exhausting, and doing those other things adds to that, which I don't begrudge him that at all. I'm glad that he's doing those things, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So he needs some time to decompress, and he needs to figure out, with 97 catches this past year, that's still really productive. And he was super productive in the game against Houston. And you could argue his production wasn't where it should be this Super Bowl, but he had to stay in and block a bunch. But 97 hits on your body and blocking and all those things, how do you feel physically and what do you want the rest of your life to look like? And if you feel okay enough physically to keep going, then great, keep going. I think you can contribute in a significant way. But you know, if you want to have kids and you want to be as healthy as possible in your retirement, those are things that you got to factor in at his age, and you need to do what's best for you outside of the money, outside of all the other stuff. Where are you from a physical standpoint? And then if you do want to come back, can you do it with the right mindset? Otherwise, you are putting yourself at risk for injury.
Yeah, look, whatever he decides, and for whatever reason, I'll applaud. I mean, he's earned that right if he wants to keep playing, if he wants to retire. He said something, because I did listen to a lot of it, Nick.
I figured you would. I knew you'd have my back, Brew. I was like, Brew will be prepped for this if I'm not.
And one of the things he said was that the getting prepared for every game, the mental strain and the physical strain, he said it I think the direct quote was driving me crazy this year. And some of that may have been the three-peat.
I think there's a lot of
maybe some of what
pressure.
you mentioned too, just all the other things he had going on. I don't think he said that, but maybe that contributed to it. And he also said it's been tough battling with or accepting that you're not the player you used to be, and you're not in the biggest, like the two biggest games, the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, he didn't have his typical numbers or the impact on the game. From my vantage point, again, I'll applaud him if he goes against this. My vantage point, I would say retire. There's nothing left for him to prove. Now, some of it you play because you're having fun, you're making money, all that. But there's certainly nothing left for him to prove. I know he can pass with Jerry Rice.
Rice.
Still got that. But he's already, by many people, viewed as the best tight end ever, maybe second best by some people. But he's in that discussion. He's clearly a Hall of Famer. He's got 3 Super Bowls. He's not a quarterback where one more is going to make him, he is the true GOAT. Like, I just think if he's really iffy about it, I would say, man, you've done it all. And there's something to be said about never letting them see you struggle. Like, even though he hasn't had a typical Travis Kelce year, he hasn't been bad.
Right.
Yeah,
he was the 5th best tight end in football.
He had close to 100 catches.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
It's almost leaving on top. I mean, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but, you're leaving as still a very good player.
And he was a force in that first playoff game. And when you look at this last game, the amount of times he had to stay in and chip and help and chip, like he didn't get the typical opportunities that you'd get if they could have held up at all in protection.
Do you think the blowout loss is part of the decision-making process?
I do, and that's why this is the person I am saddest for is Travis, of everyone. I think I might be more concerned about Andy Reid's legacy than Andy is. I think Andy's pretty, by that I mean, by that.
Of all the people in the world to be sad for, Travis.
No. What I mean is, Coach. I'm not talking about of everyone in the world. I'm talking about of the main characters of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't think Andy is thinking about, the him versus Belichick, pros cons board. And Patrick, I believe, is going to have a very fruitful next decade, even though Wilds hasn't done. And so I think Travis had a script in his head.
Yes.
We're going to win this Super Bowl, and I'm going to be done.
Yeah. I think so, too.
And now I want to make it clear because people know that Travis and I have something of a relationship. There's no inside information on this. I have not talked to Travis Kelce since shortly after the last parade. Okay, so I have no insight on this one. I just feel like now he feels like, man, the last football game I ever play is going to be the saddest moment of my career.
That's what I'm wondering.
But that is, by the way, what happened to his brother.
Yeah.
Kelce, but it wasn't a blowout. It was a different type of sadness or whatever. But the last football game Jason ever played was...
Well, he's still kind of carrying some...
He's not... From his long post, he's not totally... I've seen guys retire and be more at peace with the decision.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.